Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, and I'm back to bring you another episode review from the Loud House Road Trip arc. So let's get right into it. Today's road trip episode is Mountain Hard Pass. In this episode, the kids try to find ways to get out of their long 10-mile hike along the Rocky Mountains, which leads to a much bigger and more life-threatening problem after a run-in with some mountain goats. While I do enjoy the montage at the end where the family makes their way back to their RV by using what nature provides, and the sentimentality of the parents wanting to make lifelong memories, part of the reason why they wanted to go on a hike in the first place, the overall atmosphere of the story is soured by the kids. Now, in fairness, I understood what the writers were going for. It was one of those instances where the characters are so accustomed to living in a fancy house on wheels and don't like the idea of going outside. Basically, the kids were turned off by the beauty of nature since they found it to be boring, uncomfortable, and maybe a tad nerve-wracking. I get how the story was set up for the kids to eventually learn how great nature can be and how making use of the bare essentials isn't such a bad thing, but compare this episode to others such as Raw Deal, Camped, and quite possibly Intense Debate. They didn't seem to complain about any of those previous outdoor adventures, or at least some didn't complain as much as others. If this episode was just about Lola not wanting to go on a hike, it would have made more sense because she's the kind of character who would be the most likely to try and get out of going into the woods. But yeah, besides her and maybe Lori wanting to stay in the RV due to a lack of cell phone service, most of the kids sharing the same hiking is stupid mentality doesn't quite work for each and every one of them. This especially doesn't work for a proven outdoorsy character like Lana, so I was shocked how she wasn't thrilled about getting close to nature. It's kind of ironic how the kids were super excited about going on a cross-country road trip at the beginning of the arc, and then all of a sudden they don't want to take in the beautiful scenery around them. But regardless, the kids begin sabotaging their hike by intentionally throwing their food supply into a river and purposely letting it get washed away, and even trying to convince their parents Lola got a rash from touching poison oak. Their last resort was trying to scare their parents back to the RV by impersonating a deadly mountain goat, although that ended up attracting real mountain goats. The goats subsequently chased the family to a rickety rope bridge and then destroy it, nearly killing everyone in the process. Oh yeah, and the family also ended up losing their map as a result. By the way, the one puzzling thing about their "let's pretend to go to the bathroom so we can dress up as a mountain goat" plot was when Lori said Lily had a full diaper. I know I said in my review of Bizarratorium how I wasn't going to question where this multi-episode arc takes place in the show's timeline, but now I'm starting to lean more towards it taking place prior to the official season 5 time skip. Lily was already toilet trained by the time she started wearing her new wardrobe, so why would she still be wearing diapers if she didn't need them anymore? Unless this arc takes place between seasons 4 and 5, I for the life of me cannot figure out an explanation for this blatant inconsistency. If anyone has an explanation, feel free to leave it down in the comment section. But anyway, this episode isn't entirely negative in terms of characters, because Rita and Lynn Sr. were the best ones since they got a little on-screen development. We see how much they enjoy nature and how crafty they can be if something goes wrong while hiking. From foraging for their own food to creating an all-natural cure for poison oak, they clearly have an idea of how to live off the land. Maybe more so than what happened to them in Washed Up, but that's a whole other story. You really feel bad for the parents here because all they wanted was to create lifelong memories like they used to do in the past, and their kids ended up causing harm in more ways than one in what should have been a fun experience they could all share together. So this leads to the characters confessing to screwing things up, and they work together to get back to their RV in a fun little sequence which involved a very intense log ride. It sort of reminded me of Lincoln and Clyde making use of their natural surroundings from the episode Roughing It, so the family doing the same thing here was pretty good. In the end, the kids finally develop a love for nature and beg their parents to sleep outside. Well, they kinda had to, considering the mountain goats had taken over their RV, but I guess that's beside the point. Overall, this episode had more negatives than positives, but at most I consider this road trip installment as a guilty pleasure. As I said, past instances where the kids are embracing the outdoor elements with little to no objection make watching this episode both confusing and, dare I say, a little annoying despite the lesson it was going for. Collectively speaking, all the kids having the same "nature sucks and I want to go back inside" mentality doesn't work. Again, that works more in Lola's favor and maybe Lori's, so perhaps either one of them could have been the culprit behind all the sabotage. However, the more positive things like the parents and the using what nature provides sequence saved the episode from getting a much lower score. There were also two minor funny moments I really enjoyed. There was a part where Luna tried soothing the mountain goats with a lullaby, and those goats were not going to back down at all. The other moment was Lincoln being persuaded into going outside after seeing his dad wearing his famous blue suit whenever he wants to be the master of convincing. It's the first time he's on the receiving end of that suit, so that's a nice subtle role reversal I can appreciate. So yeah, this was kind of a low point in the road trip arc, but it certainly wasn't enough for me to flat out hate it either. It had the right idea idea, just not properly executed. With that said, I give Mountain Hard Pass a 6.6 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Mountain Hard Pass. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.